What is up, guys? Welcome back to another big welcome back to my channel. It's me, Tristen. You already know. If you didn't know, now you know. I'm sorry, guys. I just really wanted to, bring the energy for today's video because I'm filming 2 videos in one day, and I feel like that's a really big accomplishment. So I have to show you that I'm excited about that, and I'm energized, and I'm proud of myself, and this is my way of doing that. So for for today's video, I'm essentially going to be telling you how I got into all of the colleges that I got into. And yeah, so stats. Okay, so for all of my applications, I applied through the common application. That's number 1. I can show you my activities list. I did a bunch of extracurriculars and I made meaning out of all of them, as you'll see. You can pause the video to look at that. I'm not going to explain all of that. Okay, so actually I am going to explain all of that. I don't know why I would say that, but these are my activities. I used all 10 slots, and I basically ranked them in order of importance to me. And so the first activity, as you can see, is track and field. I was on the team for all 4 years of high school. I was on the JV/varsity team. I think those were both combined at my school. So I have that. The headline, I have what the activity is, what exactly I did in the activity, because I believe on the Common App it asks you what is the highest position of leadership held. So I just specify which races I ran, and that I also did it in the summertime. I did club track. And then in the sub section, I guess, the part that's not in bold, I explained what track means to me personally and why it's important. And then the next one is student government. And at my school, we have different committees, and I was a head of the community committee. So I wrote that in the bold, and I wrote the purpose of that is, to transition new students into my high school's community right there as well. And then in the subsection is where I listed all of my leadership positions held with this community for each year of high school, because I did participate with this one as well for each year of high school. And then you see the little after the semicolon, I says I've shared my authentic experience to show why it was meaningful to me a little bit. Just really making use of the space provided here. The next part is that I was a coaching assistant for After School Matters. List the title of that one again. I stated my position in each year of the program, but I also show what was the general thing that I valued most from that specific year. So for example, freshman year I was an apprentice, and I learned mindset, mindfulness, and financial literacy that year. 10th grade is a little bit different. 11th grade is a little bit different. Just to show a broader variety of things I did within that specific program, and to make sure I'm not saying the same thing in each activity that I'm showing here. And then I have my 2 jobs that I've held before. You can see I had them for a year each in different years of high school. And I just show why it's important that I had these jobs. I'm not going to explain what those jobs were to the colleges, because they know what it means to be a cashier and they know what it means to work at Starbucks. So just show what I learned and why that experience was important to me. And then the heavily reliant on CTA. So I actually listed the CTA bus, which is my, if you're not from Chicago, it's the transportation system in our city. I listed that as an activity because I do spend a lot of time on it, and I genuinely do enjoy taking the bus, and it's something that I miss to this day now that I'm in college even. So I felt like it was really important to add that to my application so they can see I spend a lot of time on the bus. And I made it creative by saying that it's helped me become more timely. I do homework on the bus. I've learned to navigate my city, and I can observe passengers' lives, explore new communities, just to show why it's valuable that I take the bus so much. And then in the title, you see I said CTA active user, just to make it a little bit quirky and show my personality a bit, even in the activities section. So that, and then I mentioned WOCA, BSU, which are affinity groups that I'm in. This is a lot of activities, but I also mentioned that I have a lot of family responsibilities at home as an only child, taking care of my pets, and also taking a lot of care for myself. And having that big responsibility did take up a lot of time, so I mentioned it here. I even mentioned YouTube. I mentioned YouTube a lot in all of my applications just because it's so unique to me, and it might not be academic, but it's definitely a part of me, and it's definitely a part of what I mentioned in written responses for schools, but also when I had the chance to interview with schools, I mentioned that as well. And then the last sport, volleyball, I placed it so low because I didn't spend so much time on it, and I also was injured, so I didn't really participate. But I still learned a bit about that because I said I still supported the team as if I wasn't injured. So had to include that one in there because it's different from track, where that's more of an individual sport and volleyball is a team sport. So just wanted to show a range of interest through my activities list, and I also just thought about things that I genuinely do spend a lot of time, or genuinely did spend the most time doing. And yeah, I feel like there was more things that I probably did, but I just didn't include those things because they weren't necessarily large parts of my life, and they didn't matter much. Anything that I did that isn't on here, it's probably something that, looking back on my high school experience, I would just have forgotten about. So make sure that you're including meaningful activities and just showing a range, showing that you're a well-rounded student. And if you're more early on in your high school experience, say you're a freshman or sophomore, keep that in mind. Make sure you're doing things that aren't necessarily all geared towards the same thing, because then your application becomes very repetitive and you're just saying, I did this, and it's all the same stuff. You don't want to be a one-track student at all, and I definitely was not, which is something I'm really proud of. So yeah. My class schedule each year, I took 4 years of language, I took 4 years of English, I took 4 years of math, and 4 years of science. The only class that I only took for 3 years was what was it? History. And I also believe I took 4 years of an art class. I also show my transcript, I guess, to show my class schedule for each year on the screen. You can pause to look at that. My cumulative GPA by the end of my senior year of high school was a 3.67 out of 4 unweighted. I mostly had A's and B's throughout all my years of school. My GPA was out of 4 because it was on an unweighted scale. We also didn't have AP classes or honors classes at my school, and we also didn't have class rank or anything like that because we were very progressive. And so yeah, we didn't have anything like that to boost my GPA or to make my academics look more superior. I did not take the SAT, but I took the ACT because I'm better at English, and so they had English and reading, so that was heavier, which was better for me. And I took the ACT 5 times because I've been taking this test since I was a sophomore because my mom is like that. Honestly, I didn't like it, but it might have helped me. So take it or leave it. The final time, the last time I took it, my senior year, I got a 30 on the ACT, and it's out of 36. But my super score with the last 2 times I took the ACT was a 31. What else? Senior year, I took calculus, and my teacher was an AP grader. So essentially, I was taught the AP Calculus AB curriculum, and I took that test, that exam, the AP exam for that class, and I got a 4 on that test for calculus. And yeah, that's my academics. I don't know if I'm missing anything or not. I applied to the majority of my schools regular decision. I only applied to 4 schools early, one of them early decision. In the summer of my junior year, I also participated in the Woodson Scholars, which was a University of Chicago collegiate writing program that I chose to do, called Awakening into Consciousness, which is also something I put on my college applications. I'm trying to think. Not only did I write my personal statement and the required supplements for each school, but I also use the additional info section, which I'll insert a screenshot of here. You can see what I wrote for that. I'm an only child. Both of my parents went to college. Well, my dad did some college. My mom went to college. She got a bachelor's and a master's, so I'm not first gen at all. That's useful information to know. I'm black. I am low income. I did not do Questbridge, but also if you're from Chicago, there's this program I'm in called Chicago Scholars, which is also reflected on my applications. What else? As I was screenshotting my additional information section from this application document, I realized or remembered that I also submitted an art portfolio to all the schools that accepted them. So on the screen currently is the short summary thing that I wrote for that and submitted to each school. And then I also have, these were the images that, well, I'm not going to show the images, but this is my portfolio that I submitted as well. These are the images that I submitted. For photography, they also have other portfolios that you can submit for art. So Dance, I believe, is one of them. Music might be one of them. And you can just, like, visual art, like painting and stuff also is, like, options like that. And you can submit those for consideration as part of your application. It's especially important if you plan on majoring in anything related to the arts at your school, or like getting involved in things like that. I didn't do that. I applied as a potential psychology major for all of my colleges, so this doesn't really have anything to do with that, but still going to show you what I submitted to them just to get an idea of what type of pictures that I did. And I used Adobe Portfolio to make this specific website that I'm currently showing you guys. It's taking a long time to load each thing, but yeah, that's this. I really, as you can see throughout this whole video, I really did as much as I could to like showcase different parts of me, and included as much detail as I could, and my focus was really going to be to make everything personal. So yeah, that's pretty much all I can say for my stats. This is a pretty short video. I don't know why I didn't do it sooner. Hopefully that's helpful to you. Good luck on your applications. Keep in mind that no specific part of the application has more weight over another. Most schools, especially all the schools that I applied to and the ones I got accepted into, take into account like all of your application. They call it like holistic review or something like that. So yeah, I would say I was a pretty well-rounded student. I did a lot of stuff in and out of the classroom, and I think my application reflected that. So yes, be balanced. Good luck. May the odds be ever in your favor, but it's always going to be in your favor. Wherever you end up is meant for you, so keep that in mind. Also, thank you. Okay, smash the like button, subscribe, comment, all that. Stay tuned for the rest. Bye.